Yep.
That's to keep me divided. I already put notes on it. All right, you all ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. All right, everybody could please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Welcome. We have a couple of adjustments to our agenda. We're adding under new business H, town treasurer, and I, town meeting warrant. Any other adjustments? Okay, perfect. All right, so, approval of the minutes will be tabled. They are still in development. Starting out with ATV access route. So to start out, just can I get a show of hands of those who are not Canton residents? Before we get started. All right, thank you. Okay. So we're here tonight to look at and vote on making Staples Hill, on whether or not to make Staples Hill an access route for ATVs. We've had the Hartford Club come in a couple times and talk about it. The request originated with them. So I will turn the floor over to either Dan or Dave and ask them to give us an update on where things are at, and then we can move forward.
Hi, good evening. I'm David Stiles, president of the ATV Club of Hartford. And, we're here to address the Staples Hill issue again. And I think you had some questions about our access routes and whatnot. And our primary goal was to get to the top of Bear Mountain, which we have secured that now. And originally Hartford Select Board last summer approved the ATV access, and that was the first step in working towards Bear Mountain. So now we do have access all the way up to the top of Bear Mountain, and we're just asking, the next link would be Staples Hill into Canton, because it would benefit the citizens of Canton to be able to get to the top of Bear Mountain legally, and it would also benefit Hartford residents to get to all of your trails and beyond. And that's pretty much what we're asking at this point. We're still working on a few other things on the west side of town as far as getting into Sumner and Peru. But at this point, we accomplished our primary goal, which was Bear Mountain. Thank you.
I know one of the reasons that we had held up our decision was due to getting access. You guys had said there was a trail through Pine Shores. We had some landowners come in and say there wasn't. So we're looking, I think that's kind of the update we were looking for, was to see where that was at, and or if that wasn't happening, where you go off of Church Street onto an actual trail.
Ian Brissett, we do trail news, minister for the and we got all the permissions but two. But the two want to keep it the way it's always been for the last 40 years. People have been driving through there with ATVs and whatever, trucks. And that's the way they wanted to keep it. And so we cannot post it as a trail. However, we are trying to get through the route. And we have opened up the trail up Church Street, maybe a quarter mile before Mahoney. If you're familiar, it's a snowmobile trail. So it goes to the railroad bed.
Okay. Yeah.
We've got Neil's permission and another lady there, remember we got. So we're able to get through there. So that would give us access to if we open up the trails to Peru, that's where it could be going. And if somebody goes the other way, nobody's ever stopped anybody from going there, but we cannot. It's not a club trip.
Mhm. So how far is it from, you know, how far it is from the Canton Hartford line to where that trail comes out?
Is it 3 miles?
It's like 5.5 on this trail.
Not for this.
From the bottom where you would hear their access. Yeah, yeah, well, what I'm saying is from where the trail ends here to where you're talking, it's about 5.5.
So from the Hartford line to there is roughly 3 miles.
3 to 3.5.
3.5, yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, that trail, that the snowmobile trail comes down is like a quarter mile before Mahoney. So it's not, it's like a quarter or something like that, but it's.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, guys. So now so now I'm gonna open it up for Canton residents to have a discussion and tell us their thoughts and things. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, if other avenues have been investigated, only because from the bottom of the hill here to the Canton line is a mile and a half. There are at least 35 homes between this road and the town. And a very heavily traveled road, and, you know, we saw evidence of that, a couple of weeks ago with a pack going up the hill, passing each other and going into it. But from a safety standpoint and the volume of traffic on that paved highway for a mile and a half past homeowners, I would rather have pay taxes and have it quiet than I would have it over ATVs. In that regard. That's just my personal, and nothing against ATVs, but there are places for them and places maybe not.
Thank you. Richard?
I feel the same way that what he said, if they have to pass it, we should, only Staples Hill should, vote yes or no. This Staples Hill, not anybody in Canton. And I don't want it to go up to Staples Hill.
Thank you.
They make too much traffic.
Okay.
Has any other avenue been explored, like to talk to the landowner where the snowmobile trail runs right now across the field from the Canton Hartford line into town? Has that been explored by anybody yet?
I will give Brian the Canton
The people have to run it all together.
Years ago, when the Canton Club started, we wanted to go that way. And was hoping to use the railbed when the water district is, and it was just like taking a bee's nest, and the other landowner that goes up in the field didn't really want that to go up through there, because he didn't want damage in his field, and
Well, yeah, because of the hay.
and it's quite steep down there too, and we'd have to be sure all the water's going the way, the right way and everything. It's,
Well, I'm just saying, if anybody's talked to that landowner lately and
well,
There are actually there are 4 of us here in rural.
they have already abused the roadway as it is here already. There's already been all kind of ATVs and up and down Dead Road, hot riding up down the road already. And it needs to be resolved once and for all, you know.
It's not open to ATVs.
Well,
Carolyn?
ATVs, but they've already been doing it.
yeah.
Carolyn?
Yeah.
And it's a constant fight with the erosion and the downhill water. It is really inappropriate for a ATV trail, that's first thing.
Mhm.
But my question is what is the speed limit? Because I wouldn't say we see that I have seen constant traffic coming down, but when they come, they are really going fast and really loud. Stable still. And perhaps we could post You know, I mean, but I don't think Staples, I don't know if people want to say, well, don't mind. I think maybe lower the speed limit.
You mean for cars? It's not an ATV lower for, it's not, ATVs technically aren't allowed on it, so you can't lower something that's not really allowed anyway. But for speed limit.
But they are allowed.
They're not.
They're not.
No, they're not.
Not yet.
Access. Not allowed.
If,
Yeah.
They drive down that road.
if,
Okay, so they are not, but they're just not following.
right, if we were going to make it an ATV access route, if that vote goes through, then we would set the speed limit and things like that.
Okay, that's what I would.
Yeah.
And then enforce it.
Correct. Well, we will, but,
We already told it wasn't important. But any more than that was here last time.
Brian,
He doesn't like his job.
It is.
Well, when you got people speeding, you need to call the Oxford County Sheriff's Department. Get them so they know there's a problem area and give them catch ATVs or cars going. I mean, they need to be called, know that's a hotspot.
Yeah.
And that would help. I mean, then they can, you know, if we still got problems, it's not calling, they can say, well, you know, we got 5 or 6 calls. Somebody racing up and down the hill, ATV a car, and they're gonna make more of a chance to get out there and watch it, because they know it's a thing.
go ahead, Steve.
I'm not a resident of Canton, I'm a resident of Jay, but, you know, game wardens are pretty good at what they do. If you get signs from them, they have signs that prohibit ATVs. We have issues on other landowners I work with. But they want you to put up signs so that it's signed and now people are warned, okay? And they pinch a few people, it'll make a difference, but I mean, they won't do it until you put up signs that can be signed and go that things.
Just for the record, the last time the game warden was here, he said, don't call us, we won't. Those were his exact words.
Who was it? It was
It was just, I don't know.
Josh,
But I just wanted to kind of follow up with what Gary said. I love ATVing, we ATV and we're not opposed to ATVers, but Staples Hill is a very dangerous road. It has a lot of curves, it has no side banks, so nobody can really get over. And with someone who has a 17-year-old that's just learning to drive, putting my child on a road with somebody that's in an ATV with children in theirs and they're flying around him, it's not a safe situation. Like I said, I love ATVing. There is a place for it for sure, but Staples Hill isn't.
Christine. Sorry. Yeah, that was my fault.
Last time I was here, one of these meetings, I asked if anybody looked up the state guidelines, and I think at that time it hadn't been done. I did look that up today, and I found they asked if there is an 8 question. And questions 6 and 7 are particularly pertinent to Staples Hill Road and carries on with what Emily was saying. Question number 6 is, are there geometric issues? If there's not ample room to run off the shoulder area, there is not ample room to run off the shoulder area. Does the roadway have horizontal and vertical curves that will make it unsafe for either the user of the ATV or the motorist? And anybody that's driven over the top of Staples Hill knows we have serious site instances up there. So first thing the state's asking is, can you drive this ATV off the road? If you can drive it off the road, are there any unsafe horizontal or vertical curve? And we have a lot of unsafe vertical curves on Staples Hill. The second question is, so you can't get off the road, do you have a 4-foot shoulder? You don't have any shoulder on Staples Hill. And then finally, the third point the state makes is pertinent here is, will the ATVs in your movement of motorists or in speed travel? And it's clear from the width of Staples Hill that a motorist cannot get around an ATV. And I copy, if you like a copy. Beyond
And we have
that,
that page.
should the town decide that this might be something that's reasonable to do, with very little Googling, I've known several different towns in the area have enacted ordinances.
Yep.
Prior to allowing such access, the ordinance, right now, according to state guidelines, the town is required to put up all the signs, maintain the signs, maintain the record of activity of the sign. So a lot of the ordinances put that onus in the thought. a lot of your ordinances put speed limit restrictions in there and other additional restrictions beyond what's in the state rules.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brian.
Did you have something you wanted to say, too?
Yeah, Christina.
Okay.
Okay, a couple of weeks ago, and I shared this with the select board, we watched as a group of ATVs went up a little hill, and it was literally scary. And, they were passing as they were passing our house. And they happened to come upon my son, they passed just before they reached Mac's house, okay, at the top of the hill. As they were going down over the hill, another ATV passed him, and a third one passed as they got down on the corner where you would turn on Dearborn Road. Before he reached your house, okay, I'm not sure what your name is, but all of the cars, all the ATVs had gone past him. He never saw them again. So yes, I could have taken pictures, but they were going so fast. I also know that my son used to be a state police officer. They can be anywhere from the New Hampshire border to Canton. And you make a call, yes, you're given information, yes, they are aware, but you don't know when they're gonna come back again. And for my son, he never saw those ATVs again once they went past him. And it was scary. Some of those ATVs had children in them. And as they're going back and forth across the road, and I held my breath, and we talked about it, I was like, oh my gosh. Yes, I recognize that you have a club and you want to, have a place where you can have access. But we have to live with that noise, we have to live with that risk of watching these ATVs go by, and it's frightening. It's very frightening.
You have no law
Right.
enforcement, you have no signs, you have nothing.
Brian,
You got, there's a
go ahead.
bunch of outlaws right now doing their own thing.
And that will continue to happen because it doesn't happen.
Okay,
Okay, guys, enough. Brian,
You was mentioning warden service. I've had very good luck with the warden service.
I'm not, I would say what he was saying. when we
Yeah, but I had an issue a while ago. And I called Mindy, the warden in this area.
Came right
She
there,
was very
She's
good.
very
I mean,
responsive.
there is times they're on the other end of the state.
for sure.
And you was mentioning signs, the town. When we was talking at the other information meeting a while back. I said the club, the Canton Club would buy, pay for the signs, we have to have DLT signs and stuff. But we said we, if it was approved, we'd pay for the signs.
Or the town's responsible for maintaining them.
We would be responsible because we'd have. We'd have an agreement with the town to take care of, so. The people would be paying for the upkeep of the sign.
oh,
So, yeah, I understand what you're, I'm the chairman of the planning board. So we create those ordinances. So if we needed to create an ordinance stating that if you have any of this, all signage would be pushed off to the club owners, we could write that ordinance if we need.
Correct.
So that way, it is not a handshake deal. It's written down if you do that.
I think signs are a great thing, but nobody pays any attention. Speed limit signs on the main highway, there's a prime example on it, and
Yep.
every other sign, yeah, they're good,
Mhm.
and. But it does not take away this particular street with all the homes on it, and as narrow as it is, it doesn't take away the risk. I don't know if the town is getting rid of it or not, but it doesn't take away the risk of somebody getting killed on this narrow street. I get them.
I've got one other thing I want to say. So we have ATVs, we have their bikes, we have side by sides. Actually, didn't realize we were talking about this today when I came in. But when I was younger, if I was going from trail to trail and I knew that to get from one trail to the other wasn't a right of way, I wanted to get there as fast as I could so that I didn't get caught.
That's a great point.
And, we've got an 18 access route that goes up through, where the cemetery is and all that stuff. that's posted, I think, at 15 or 20 miles an hour. I think it's 15. I know there were some concerns with dust and things like that on that dirt road, but if it's posted, I think people respect that for the most part, and they're not gonna go through there at 70 or 80 miles an hour, humming down the road. Because of the fact that it's there. I understand you guys live on the road. I totally get it. I wouldn't want things coming up and down the road, but I think if signs are there and rules are in place, you're less apt to have people break them because they're gonna, one, if they got prompt registration, their machine could go away, they could get impounded, all kinds of things, so. If signs were there, I would put the speed limit, if we ever did it, probably low, like 10 miles an hour. So that way you don't have someone coming down the road. Roxbury is the same way, they've got their main roads through Roxbury. You're on a paved road, and I think it's 25 miles an hour on that particular road that's on the board. But
Matt,
I have a couple
Thank you.
things on this. Well, one, when in the, state, website, Christine was reading before, when it talks about horizontal and vertical curve and shoulder width, it ends up, I think, if it's unsafe, deny the application, period. It's not, wave your magic wand, deny the application if it's unsafe. And it's unsafe. I've been a roadside safety professional for 40 some odd years. Trust me, it's unsafe. So that's one thing. Another thing is something I mentioned to the selection in the last time. I know Emily's here and Bill's here and Bert's here. We always have problems down on the lake with ATV every year. It just happens. Now we're gonna have people that we're authorizing to use Staples Hill Road. They're gonna come wheeling down the road and they'll say, oh, that looks like a trail. Let's go down there. Let's go trail down by the lake. So it's not, it has no ATV signs on it on both ends, and people still come down there all the time. People threatening with guns down there, riding their ATV. So what are we gonna do to keep people, if you did allow them on Staples Hill Road, keep them off the parks, they're not, and signs or a fitness squad, even with no ATV on there, and all these kind of things. So that's another concern of mine, kind of going forward with this. And I guess another question I have, in reading the state guidelines, it says, in order to apply for the waiver, it has to be a recognized and registered club of the state. I looked online and the Hartford Club's not registered.
I mean,
It is okay, it is might be coming up, but that's one makes sense.
we're a new club, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any other Canton residents who want to speak? Or,
I have one question.
Yeah.
So as it stands right now, because you have two landowners that you weren't able to get permission from, there is no legal access from the Hartford end to Staples Hill.
No,
That's something.
correct. We got a different,
Other than
different
straight
route.
down.
We're not using Pine Shore. So that's not even an issue.
Okay,
So
Yeah, their legal route is the road,
right.
Church
Do you
Street
have-
and Bear Pond.
Do you have
we
signed
have
permission?
other trails too.
It's gonna open up driveways as well.
There
But
are
that, you
signs
can
up.
go on the past all you want, but it doesn't change the fact we're dealing with the present. And if we're looking to move forward, what happened 40 years ago or 4 days ago.
Well, hey, we're not
All right,
endorsing
so-
using Pine Shores. We don't have permission there.
Mhm.
As a
Right.
club, we're not using that. We have another access. I know during the big public hearing, most or all of these concerns were brought up then and answered. We can what if things to death. I had a career in the fire service and you plan for the worst, but the worst usually never happens. And these people that are going up and down the hill right now are doing it illegally. And I just had a couple days ago, there was a dirt bike and an ATV just busting butt up through there. Because there again, they know they're not supposed to, and they're trying to get somewhere without getting caught. And I think the game warden that was here, he's a detective now, he's well into his career, maybe near the end of his career. And I think he did the warden service a great injustice. Because if you ask Mindy or ask any of the other officers, they're going to enforce the law, regardless of whether they think it might go to court, get dismissed or whatever. But the big thing is, people are fearful of doing something they shouldn't. And if they get caught, at the very least, they're gonna get a verbal warning. And it's gonna inconvenience them for a while, or at the very most, they're gonna get a citation, have to go to court. So, again, we can what if all these things to death, but when it comes to berms on the roadways, most towns that have ATV road access, some of them actually post signs that say, stay off of the berm. They want you on the pavement, so you're not tearing up the berm. So that's really not an issue either. And the other thing is, we can impose speed limit, we can impose restrictions as to, when it gets dusk, they're not supposed to go up through there. And the ones that do, they're breaking the law like any other law there is up there. So when you have a sanctioned club, the people you see busting butt up and down Staples Hill right now illegally probably aren't members of a club. The members of clubs are way more responsible and they're held accountable. And so that it boils down to that. This hobby is like any other thing. People can get hurt. A motorcycle can come up through there today and crash into a car because it's a roadway. The ATVs aren't going to make it any less safe than any other vehicle.
All right, so I think, Christine?
I just wanted to really state that allow access roads where we need to impede the traffic and comply with that.
Those apply to state routes.
Okay, Canton residents are speaking now.
I'm a registered professional engineer, as you know, and it says quite frankly in the state guidelines that if there's not a 4-foot shoulder, that the access should only be allowed by engineering judgments. And I've heard a couple people say that's not safe and speed limit was supposed to be signs. Nobody in this room is qualified to make those decisions.
May I ask what
So I think
the difference is?
I think at this point, we've gone round and round enough. We've had a lot of the things that are coming up tonight are the same that we've had multiple meetings. But the reason the notice was sent out to all residents is to make sure that you guys had noticed that we were gonna vote tonight. So at this point, I'm gonna turn it over to the board and ask for a motion so we can move forward.
Brian? Sorry if I speak, Brian. Resident.
Quickly. Yep.
Quickly. I'm Bruce Cox, I'm president of the Blue ATV Club. So I just want to talk from experience, I don't have any stories, but 30% of our access is road access. You cross by the Peru Fire Station over to Mexico, you cross the bridge, you cross the intersection. There's no four foot pavement on the bridge, you can't get off to the side, you ride right down the road. It's been going on now for, if I can remember. Yeah. And I can't recall any accidents happening with ATVs or snowmobiles. If something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And something is gonna happen. That's how it is. There's gonna be people that speed, even if it's marked. That's just how it is. You can't stop it. It could happen anywhere. It's not just Canton. But right now, if you unload at Bretton's, come on here out of state, you unload at Bretton's. You can't ride with J. J Railbed's closed. Your only option is to ride up here and turn around, ride back here. They're not gonna. But if you open a trail up, going up over Staples Hill, Bear Mountain, all the other places, you'll have that commerce in your town. You'll have people coming here.
Big Apple.
Big apple, make the money.
If you're out 3 hours, you're not gonna ride up here. Yeah, guys.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna wanna do a loop.
Right.
Loop would be up to rough.
I make a motion, we take a vote.
What's your motion?
Thank you.
Motion
To approve or disapprove?
that's. So the motion would be to approve a access route on Staples Hill Road, and then we can vote on it.
Correct.
I have a second on the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second on allowing an ATV access route on Staples Hill Road. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed to the motion? All right, thank you.
Do we
Rob-
know?
Rob's only listening in.
Oh,
Yep, I asked him, he's only listening.
Okay.
So,
I was gonna say, do we need to do a roll?
Yep.
Thank you for your comment.
I already checked on that.
Appreciate this, when you give us the time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right, on to DOL update. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Carol and I sat,
Thank you.
thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Carol and I spent an enjoyable 4 plus hours here at the table last night doing paperwork for the Department of Labor. The paperwork has been sent in today for the abatements. We will wait and see where we're at. We were beyond the extension deadline, so there may be penalties, fines, we don't know. Everything has been sent forward to the Department of Labor. We're waiting to hear back. Fire chief and I and Carol had a discussion with CCB safety yesterday as well to check on where we're at, get some trainings, and plans. The plans are in development. Hopefully by the end of this week, we will have 1 or 2 of them in our hands. I'm going to talk to them again tomorrow. And then there is a hazmat training for the fire department that'll be taking place hopefully on the 25th at their next meeting. I believe it's the 25th. I'll look at my calendar, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. At their next meeting, which would take that off the list. So we'll find out when we get a response from DOL on where we're at and what we gotta do. But
Did you feel like that covered most of the stuff that was required?
most of the things have been abated at this point after the paperwork that we did last night. Most everything has been abated except for the plans and or trainings that we don't have the capacity to do. So what's left is stuff that's
Beyond our.
more complicated than what we felt comfortable doing in-house.
Thank you guys.
So those are the things that are left, but we're,
Supported the paper through last night, photocopying.
yes, we supported the paper mill very well last night.
You all could see.
There are multiple copies of things and, yeah, so we had a great enjoyable time, but yeah. Anyway, so that's the DOL update.
Next time, call. Holding it to that.
I'm hoping there won't be next time.
Or any similar.
All right, truck body quote, excavator quote, Bobcat quote. Turn that over to Carol. It's public
Okay,
works related.
which one are we doing first? We're doing the truck body,
Yep,
which is somewhere here.
Viking.
Which one are we doing? It's right first. There we go. Better than I thought. Yes. So this is a quote to replace the body on the Western Star because no one has been happy with that body since since it was purchased. When was it purchased? 17.
17.
Yeah. Andy has looked around, done his homework on what he thinks would best fit our needs. This is from Viking Survey. We reached out to another dealer and did not hear back. Those are the only 2 in the state that deal with this. So this quote is $54,995 and it replaces the current body, which is not effective.
And is having issues in
Yes,
multiple
it is
places.
having, yeah.
The spinner is not working correctly, the
They had a lot of.
chain
problems with
replacement
it.
didn't go well, it's not in good shape.
Yeah, and it's been modified numerous times to try and make it do what we need it to do, and it no longer is doing that.
Do you know, does the 54 include the 1500 and the removal of 672 to remove the body?
No,
Or is that, so it would be 54 plus 672 minus 1500?
correct,
Okay,
so basically it's 55. Minus 15, so down to 40 and then 672, or you can do it on your phone if you don't.
He's getting the exact number.
so if we said up to 56,000, that would cover it.
It should.
That should be more than enough.
And this,
but-
I believe, can come out of the highway equipment reserve account.
Yeah.
I can't remember what Andy told me, but there was a lead time. There is a little bit of a lead time, so we can't wait until, October.
No, we need to.
Yeah.
Like, get on it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we go through Viking Survey for purchasing a new dump body for the Western Star for up to 56,000 to come out of the highway equipment reserve account.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second for up to 56,000 out of the highway reserve account. All those in favor? Those. Okay. So now, we have other, excuse me, we have quotes for excavators and trailer.
Are we doing those
So-
right now?
I was gonna say, my recommendation on those is, we wait until our next meeting because Trisha will be in next week to do the
Okay.
updates, to work on updating the numbers on balances and stuff.
Yeah.
So just to make sure we're,
Accurate.
100% on where we're at to date,
Yeah.
she'll be in next week to start the work on updating balances and stuff. So,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
uh,
I'd rather wait.
yeah, and we have the updated quote from SR1, so I will.
Which is a
Combine.
bundle deal.
Yep. So we will add that to the group and, as soon as we
Yes,
have, Trisha in to update our numbers, we will bring that back for consideration.
No. Sounds good.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
The Bobcat quote, is that something that came through from us, or is that you actually got a quote from Bobcat?
Andy reached out and got a quote from someone else.
What,
Yeah.
what was it for a piece of equipment? Was it a mini excavator or? was it-
yes,
Yeah,
Maybe
like the
excavator.
excavator.
I don't know if to say that.
yeah, it's all through.
E48
It's,
Okay,
it's.
is the one that they quoted us.
Excavator trailer.
I think that's-
Yeah, compact excavator.
Yep.
Excavator.
Yeah, he had
It's
just
okay.
gone around to a couple different places to get some quotes and uncomparable sizes.
We have to
and
have
stuff.
3 if it's over.
right.
All right, perfect. So we will take a look at that once Trisha comes in and go from there.
New business.
On to new business. Steve, I will turn it over to you.
Okay. You guys get a copy of the contract?
We do.
We do, yes.
You also asked me to look at road work,
Mhm.
Yes.
and, so. You come down the end of, the paved road and Hathaway Hill Road and go a little more before you hit the gate that's there.
Mhm.
While I'm thinking of it, so don't forget it. There's a key to the gate, the elusive gate. Okay?
No, I'm being a coach for the guys, so they
So,
can get through the
Andy,
cemetery.
I talked to Andy and I
Yeah.
said, he said, can we get one? I said, we'll get you.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
That's awesome.
yeah, so the locks, there's 2 locks on this gate.
Yes,
And the gate is right on the town line, okay?
Yeah.
And it's misinformation about whose gate it is or whatever, but. Ray Hamilton from the Ancient Ones put it in.
Yeah.
Okay, so Thomas Wilson, who lives right there. Give me a little bit of different information, but the bottom line is it's on the time, on the line.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna call your gate. So they couldn't get a key, so I said, look, I'm gonna have to cut the lock off. I'm not gonna mess around. You just gotta, and it was, you play with it, so we got rid of the lock. And that's the brand new lock. So that, and all the keys, that works.
okay.
Pretty good. So I have 2 more locks. So if that one disappears, we'll add it back in.
Yeah.
There's a second lock on there that's got a combination.
Yep,
That's for the ancient ones.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a combination one of this, one. You just open it up and you're good to go.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds
so as you go through the gate. There's road work that has to start at the end of the tar in Livermore.
Mhm.
Come down the hill, the road's not in the best of shape.
No, it's,
Okay, and then, according to Ray Hamilton, they had the bridge washed out, you don't even see it, but they put in, some steel I-beams, they laid them sideways and covered them with gravel. I have my doubts whether that's strong enough or not, he's like, oh, it's fine. So,
for a car.
yeah, so they said they had a pulp truck in there and everything, but, so my thought is we ditch the hill we have to ditch coming down the hill.
Mhm.
There really should be at least one more culvert added.
Yeah.
To the hill, ditch both sides, we have to add material, shape it. I wanna put in 3 bridge mats across that structure and I put gravel on both sides.
Mhm.
That way, when we're done, we pull that. It's none of our issue, not your issue, nobody's issue. It's they're gonna go back to their little structure.
Yeah.
Okay, we're out of there.
There was an area, cause I walked in there. Oh, it was Memorial Day weekend. And as you're going up the hill, it looked like there'd been in a washout area, like on the left-hand side of the road.
Through the gate,
Yeah, yes, past the gate.
yes, there is. So,
Okay,
so you come down the hill, you cross over the bridge I'm talking about,
Mhm.
and I say these panels, you know what I mean when I say bridge mats? The power lines using.
Swamp mats.
Swamp mats, we'll
Yeah.
put 3 of those in, cross over, material on both sides. Then going up the hill in front of Wilson's place, you know, it's okay, and then you start heading down the hill towards the gate.
Mhm.
Down the hill towards the gate, you needed a load of material in there, and you climb the hill there before you get to the gate, and that road, that needs to be ditched. Some material needs to be added there, then you come to the infamous culvert, in the corner, it's 12 feet long, that's all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wide enough for a car, so I looked at that, you asked me to get prices on culvert, it's gonna take a 36-inch culvert. Okay, and they're, you can only get them 25, I can get them 30 feet, but I'll get them Hood, Jared Hood, and it's $2,000 for a 30-foot section, okay? But that's what it needs a 36-inch culvert, and the way whoever, you know, I don't know who put it in, I think Ray Hamilton put it in, just gauging for what I can get information, okay? It's not correct the way it is, so we're fixing it, and we can do that as forestry, okay, we don't have to wait for a permit, I'm a licensed installer for the state for a DEP. And we just gotta make sure it follows the grade of the brook.
Mhm.
So if you're standing on the structure right now, you look at the uphill side, you look down there a couple of feet, you look at the uphill side, it's like 6 feet down. Has to be dropped way down, got to rock it up and everything, but if you went with concrete, you asked me, I said about concrete. It's $8,000 for the material. Okay, so it's $2,000 for a 36-inch pipe or $8,000 for the material. For the concrete, so I'm suggesting you go with a culvert,
Definitely.
okay?
Mhm.
And then we'll put material across it, rock, and then as you start going up that hill, there was some washing.
Yeah.
That needs to be ditched, and then once you get on up above there, just, I think some water turnouts. Where we just kick the water off the road, I mean, you can gravel the whole road, but I don't think you need to do that.
Yeah, it's in pretty good shape. I
It's
thought.
in pretty good shape once you get in there, you know, we're gonna brush it back and everything,
Yeah.
but, so I come into the middle landing that's in there, and then maybe the end landing where Simmons Cemetery is.
Mhm.
I don't think we need for the town to go any further than that with any road work, okay? If Ray Hamilton's talked to me, Don Lasser's talked to me about possibly cutting wood while we're there, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, we'll talk about that as it goes, you know. Word travels fast, of course.
Yeah.
So, yep,
Is that, are you guys gonna be there bottom of Alden Hill?
we're gonna, so,
Right there, we got a pile, the club, ATV club's got a pile of rocks we hauled in there. If you need some of that rock, help yourself to it.
usually I got no shortage of rock, typically.
Yeah,
Find some rock.
if you needed some, it's,
Okay,
we had it,
You deliver.
we had it donated to us,
okay,
if you need it.
well, we're gonna come in, this is besides you guys, we're gonna come in across your other town of Canton lot.
Yep.
Okay, come in that way, which we cut a couple years ago. We're gonna come in that way for the Androscoggin Land Trust, but we're not gonna probably do that until winter. Just, that's our thought right now, just kind of hold off because it's a long ways in there too, and you know, summers we've had with the, we probably have to add a lot of material. In the winter, we could freeze it down and it wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
Yep,
Do you need caution signs?
yes, we'll get to that.
Because, look, the club has a bunch of caution signs.
Perfect, because we're gonna,
Do you want me to drop them off to Andy, so you know where they are,
sure, I could drop them off here.
or? Okay, I'll
Yeah.
drop them off, need a dozen of them, so or more,
Sure, because,
or the more the better,
there's a lot, I mean, I've been over there, you
yeah,
know, and there's a lot of activity.
Yes.
A lot of ATV, and, you know, they're moving pretty fast,
and some of them
Yeah.
can't read signs anyway.
so I really can't read signs,
Okay,
so,
I'll leave a bunch of them at the town office, I'll drop some off tomorrow.
yeah, okay. So you get to Simmons Cemetery, that's been flagged, all the way around it. You had asked about cutting some trees, there, some trees were cut there before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had Red Oak come in, cause there were two, large maples.
Yeah.
One had luckily broken in half and fallen outside the cemetery. The rest of it was leaning over, and there's a large oak tree near the front part that has some pretty good limbs
Okay,
leaning
well,
over.
You should go take a look, because I've marked trees all around there that can
Okay.
cut.
Yep.
And we can cut more,
Okay,
but you can't get, you really can't get.
no, you
on the
can't that far
backside
south,
of the brook.
yeah,
Okay, so.
Yeah.
But I marked what I thought should come out of there so that it,
Okay.
we didn't cut every tree, but I thought, well, we got the ones.
yeah, it's not even so much opening it up, I just don't want those giant
The
trees
big
on
ones that didn't look good, we want.
200-year-old next to
Yeah, so, then you come to the next culvert on the road, and that's the one someone said, well, we really.
That's
wanna
what we
look
were
at that.
concerned about, yeah.
Well, what somebody did was, so the original crossing is a stone granite on the uphill side. On the
Okay.
downhill side, somebody stuck the culvert
Oh, no
against it.
kidding.
Oh, yeah, stuck a culvert against it and backfilled it and everything, you'd never know. But if you walk on the uphill side, you'll see stone, if you're down the lower side, you'll see a culvert.
That's
Okay,
interesting.
it's interesting. So what they did was, what happens is right where they join, because I mean, there's no way to put them in there
Yeah,
perfectly.
Mhm.
You get debris in there,
Yep.
okay? But you know what? It held all through these other storms. In my professional opinion, I wouldn't touch it because it's down there so far, you'd have to pull out a lot of material.
Oh, it's
And
15 plus.
if you're gonna do it, you rip out the stone one, you put a 60-foot culvert in, that's what you do.
Yeah.
And it would be expensive. So I think what we could do is take the excavator there and on the low side where the culvert is, put some rocks on there and put some material because that side tends to slump a little bit.
Yeah.
The other side seems to be fine, but I wouldn't, you open up a can of worms if you try to replace that whole thing.
So what if you dug a little bit, dug down like 6 inches after you put some material in? Drop down, say a foot, put some material there, put a swamp mat on top of it.
We could do that, you could
Just
put,
thinking out loud.
you could put,
Or if
well,
it's
you
not
want
worth it.
3. You got, or at
Yeah.
least 2. In there, you wanna leave, but you know, you could drop them down and lay them in and.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't erode this last storm.
Okay.
It didn't go anywhere. I mean, it's December storm. I mean, if it's gonna take it out, that one should have hit it.
mm,
Okay, even the first culvert didn't take it out. I mean, it was still there.
Yeah.
I mean, it washed, it's way smaller than it should be, but it was still there. So
I'll take it.
I don't think I think I just put some rocks on the low side, maybe
Okay.
add a little material, call it good. I think that way
You
you
know.
don't expose yourself to. Cause you're talking
Yeah.
major
Oh, it's-
earth moving
Yeah,
there.
it's deep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could get an excavator down deep enough, you know, and so when you put crossings in now, they want you to embed the culvert below the channel. And years ago, we were taught, gotta go right at the bottom, you can't go deeper. Now they
Yeah.
want you to embed it a third of the size of the structure, so the fish can pass through it. And
Yeah.
it's a big deal, but anyway, so that's my suggestion on the road work.
Okay.
But it's probably gonna take, I went, you know, cause the cost of material. I'm guessing it's probably gonna be, you know, between $10,000 and $12,000 to do the road work. Now, I have the contract with the Androscoggin Land Trust is to split it
Mhm.
between you two guys. So I just keep track of that and we get it and then split it as we're coming with.
what's the projection for the market for?
For the
this
harvest,
Yeah,
well, I have a better idea once I mark it. I have been marking on your property, I did mark on the Androscoggin Land Trust too, I've kind of marked my way up, you know, from the Simmons Cemetery right up through. A lot of pine out there. I forget, you know, from 3 years go by, but,
come on, Steve.
yeah, just remember everything. So there's quite a bit of pine and, there's some nice oak scattered around as well, so. I mean, it's 175 acres or something like that. I mean, I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if you don't generate, you know, $85,000 to $100,000, I would think, you know? And I'm not cutting every tree, so I'm
Right.
Selective cutting.
selective cutting, so I'm spacing out the pine, you know. The one thing I did want to tell you is if you drive in on the low side, there's old red pine plantations.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you remember on the top of the mountain on the old hillside, we had red pine, I said, you gotta take it, all of it, okay? The good news is underneath it all is oak. A sea of oak, 25, 30 foot tall oak.
Okay.
What a problem, what a problem to have. It's
Mm.
not, the reason it's there is because it's so dry. I mean, I've never seen an area regenerate red pine. You have to plant red pine everywhere you go.
Yeah.
In Canton, it grows naturally.
Of course it does.
The soils are so.
Standard.
We
And
flood all the
dry.
time, but we're dry.
You're dry there, I tell you that. So I just wanted you, I want you to know that I think that. Where the red pine is scattered through the white pine on the uphill side, I'm just thinning it out. But I think below the road, we should just get rid of all that red pine. There's a market for it now, summer. So I'm like, hey, what better time to do it? The only other thing I noticed today is, you guys know what bittersweet is?
Ugh, yeah.
It's unbelievable out there. You can't walk. I mean, you can, but you don't want to. You can walk on the old skid trails, not every one, but certain ones. I mean, you can, it just grabs your feet, pulls you right down. I mean, or you get it caught in your shirt, you can't move, you know? It's crazy. That stuff's amazing. It's really, just want you to know there's really not much you can do about it. You could get somebody out there, herbicide, they spend their lifetime out there walking through the forest. It's old fields, and that's typically where you get it. So, I mean, it's just one of those nuisance things, it's what you got. But, that's what I've got, and I think the markets still look strong, and I think we're good to go. If you guys are okay to go.
Not much ash out there.
There's more ash in places. I mean, today where I was, it's scattered, but I'm targeting ash because the ash. We didn't cut it last time. I mean, we opened it up, but now, I mean, if I can cut an ash, and then leave a maple, that's what I'm doing, or an oak.
Yeah.
So, you don't wanna depend on ash to be there in 15 years.
Right.
Because it won't be.
Yeah, true.
The hemlock, there's very little hemlock, so, there's a hemlock foliage. I mean, the porcupines are destroying your hemlock, that's what's killing your hemlock out there. I mean, they just stripped every hemlock I've come to, every one of them. They're gonna be They're just devastated. I hadn't seen any, or I would have shot them today, but I didn't see any. So, but they'll be around. But other than that, I think the markets are good. I think pine's a little, if you know anything about logs right now, pine is tight, where everybody's on quota, even myself's on quota, but we've got enough to spread it around in different locations. I think we'll be fine. So I'd be surprised if Irving doesn't take some downtime here in July, because they're just a lot of staining, they gotta rotate the piles.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I would start, not next week, but the week after, doing road work. I was gonna have Matthew Dion from Hillside Excavation, who's right there, I can do the work. Like I say, I buy material, the other stuff from Jared Hood. And probably we'll buy the material right from Pit-X, we'll bring in. I like angular stuff. Gravel's cheaper, but not a whole lot cheaper, but you put down angular stuff, crushed material, and boy, it'll be like concrete.
See, they're pretty good down that way, selling stuff.
Yeah,
It's down
the prices aren't bad.
ATV club. Well, I shouldn't say we, club over to Jay's, a lot of it, and they're real generous when they load and.
Yep,
Very fair, very fair.
they're good people,
Yes.
And I'll take care of all those, if we do this, I'll take care of that cost and keep an invoice, and then we'll split it, and we're done between you guys. But are you okay with the not touching that one culvert? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, I was shocked when I got down, looked into it, I was like, "Dude, looks like a round culvert through there." And on the other side, like, look at that. I mean, it's been there for a while, so I mean, I don't know if anybody knows any history there, but I'd say 30, 40 years ago, somebody's dropped that in there. So, interesting.
Definitely.
Sometimes works.
Yep.
Is there any, I know there's that cemetery, and then there's the one, on the other side, but is there any other one that I don't know about out there?
Not near where you're going to be, no.
Okay, I just.
But if you find one, let us know.
Yes.
Because you need more words.
I found any dead bodies either, so there is a unique, if you go into Simmons Cemetery, on the right hand side there,
Cellar
the whole
hole.
foundation there.
Yes.
But there's a little it looks like a little tunnel, you go into it, but it's got somebody put these two huge flat rocks, I mean, they're like half the size of the table. To make a little, like a.
Rootzilla maybe?
It's cool, it's pretty cool, we'll leave it on, obviously. We're not gonna-
Yeah.
Who's selling it?
It's kind
I
of
would think
unique,
so.
it's kind of unique, you know.
Huh.
That's beautiful.
Yep. So we'll try to do as least we can on Livermore, because, you know, it's not yours, but we'll do what we have to make sure it's right. Because, you know, it's not a good situation, right? That's rough, really, really rough. Your vehicle hops all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A friend and I drove to the gate, he's like, oh, thank God it's his house, because mine would have been sitting there hanging up now.
You know, if you go faster, it smooths it out.
Yeah.
I tried that.
You get it, you get air.
You wanna go fast enough?
So,
See me
is
drive.
there anything else I should, I mean, did text get made out to the town of Canton, like,
Yeah.
in the past, okay?
Yep.
Just send them here, okay?
Yep.
I guess that's all I need, just
Alright.
need a signed contract. and-
Yep.
Working on it.
Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to accept the contract from Steve Gallup for harvesting the second Meadowview lot. Oh, what? Oh, you want to say that?
Second,
I have a motion and a second to sign the contract from Steve for harvesting our woodlot. All those in favor? Oh, okay, I'll send that around your signature.
What I'll probably do, just so you probably start on your guys and get some brush for on the trail.
Mhm.
And then head to Androscoggin Land Trust to get their corner, you know, so that, make sure we won't mix wood or anything, but just,
Yep.
you know, could probably be doing both at the same time to start.
Okay,
And the other question I have for you is,
Sign
you know, Hamilton, Ray Hamilton and these other guys want to do
Yep.
work. You opposed to using your landing for their work, if that's what it takes?
fine.
Okay, just thought I'd ask it, because I don't know where it'll lead, but
Long as the wood stays separate, I'm
Oh, yeah.
okay with it.
I haven't found any ticks yet though, so that's a good thing.
Really?
How'd you manage that?
I mean, I'm shocked, but. Not yet.
It's dry.
Well, I'll tell you what, it hasn't been dry out there.
No.
It seems like it rains every other night down there.
Yeah.
Copy, Steve, and we'll keep a copy in the
Sure.
office.
Sure. Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Keep you posted.
Sounds good.
Hey, now, I was good, this, you know, I know the ATV thing, but the wardens will police that. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a lot of experience with a lot of wardens all over the state.
Mhm.
And they're very, but they want you to sign it that says, you know, no, they can't go.
Yeah.
Once that's the case, they can set up cameras, they got some really
Oh,
good
yeah.
cameras.
That's it.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think, you know, the town needs to make an example of the Yahoos doing what they're doing.
Mhm.
Okay, if you can get a few of them, that'll spread the
Makes a
word.
difference.
Probably it'll certainly help your relationship with those on Staples Hill.
Mhm.
But, I mean, I don't know Minnie per se, but I know a lot of the other ones.
We had some issues last year in Meadowview between her and Harry. They were right on the ball, and when he come up to my house one evening, wanted me to identify some people. 9 o'clock, so you come right ahead.
They're-
He was, they're both very good. I mean, I've had times knocked down by other ones that dragged along, but
Okay.
Cause you
they
don't,
got some ones in this area now, they had
Okay.
like 3 ones, so they're very good.
Yeah, it's okay.
you guys don't wanna shut down the trail on the can, through the, you know, through the Androscoggin Land Trust. or anything. You wanna-
No.
So we'll just sign it and tell people, well, be careful. I mean, it's gonna,
Yeah, next meeting, I'll mention it.
because it's
And
gonna
I'll
be.
have my son posted on our site, so
That would be good, because it's a lot of activity through there.
it's gonna, you're gonna go right up, spots.
We're not gonna use the old road that's there, that's the ATV trail, but
Yeah.
I mean, anybody driving through there, they drop a tree,
Right.
it goes
Yeah.
across it. If you pay attention.
Yeah, I'll
pass
give
it
you all
at
the
your own
lots
risk.
and signs and. If I think that I'll put
Sign
some,
the heck
once
out
you
of it.
guys get started, I'll put some on top of all of it.
Steve, if you could just call the office and let us know what date, so we can put some advanced posting out.
Yeah, it won't be for about I don't think for 3 weeks or 4 weeks before we would start.
Okay,
Okay.
I can let you know this is when it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be for a couple months.
right, But if we get it out on our.
Yeah, we can post it on the
Facebook page.
town page.
I'll
and
let you
stuff,
know,
and-
let you know when we get
I
it.
was talking to the land trust the other day, and we had a
Sounds great.
meeting down in Breton, but she mentioned it from.
All right.
Somebody was looking.
So moving on, we have a request from the town of Sumner.
Don't go
Um,
too far, Brian. I got a request for you later.
Uh,
You,
I have one too.
you're not going anywhere.
Might be the same request,
It's
but
probably the same.
yeah, so we have a request letter from the town of Sumner to, be a backup or also do their, motor vehicle registrations over here. I'm gonna look at the town clerk and see what her thoughts are.
Where we are just going back to registrations next week. Aaron and I have discussed it, and at this time, we're not comfortable with that. We appreciate Hartford. You know, covering us, and we've always reciprocated that, but to take on another town right now, where there's so much new. Well, that's not, we're not gonna do
We're gonna let the dust settle here before anything else.
that. That's what we like.
I agree.
Sounds good.
Can we revisit like in the fall maybe and?
It has to go through the state anyways, that's why the letter is addressed to the state. So there are some. The state's not thrilled with doing this, but they do let small towns do it. But we could absolutely address it again later on. So.
Yep, yeah, I'd say if you wanna just draft a quick letter back to them and just say, due to. Us just getting our. Feet under us and things like that, and I'm happy to sign it, if you want me to.
Do you need a motion, or are we just good with doing the
Oh.
letter? Okay. It's cold in here, Brian.
I don't have the thing.
It's down there.
I thought it was over there. Say, I don't have the remote.
This
If I
is
had
for
the
the
remote, I'd
projector,
change it.
Carol, cause if
Okay.
it was for that, I would have shut it down.
I'm like, okay, you know,
It's actually really nice in here, uncomfortable, but okay.
My feet are cold.
Is it closing? or
Sorry.
Did I open it more?
It'll do that, and then it'll.
All right, so next on the list, we have a trio contract, it's kind of an update at this point. Just so everybody knows, we have signed the upgrade contract for Trio. They are pushing us to Trio Web. So we have signed that. The joyful news that goes along with that is, they're forcing it and it's costing us $8,000. So. That's the great news that goes along with it.
And nobody likes.
$7,995.
What was it before?
And this is in addition to what we currently pay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it wasn't before, this is.
Yeah, so this is going to be
Oh,
in addition to what we pay. So when we do the town warrant here in a few minutes, we're going to readdress those lines
ah,
because we need to look at those again. But
Sometimes it pays to be late.
so we have paid, or we have signed this and Kathy has already emailed that back. So that's just an update of where we're at. Great news.
yeah.
Next, the carryovers. So we will have, I didn't have them done tonight because Ron and I didn't talk until this afternoon. There are a few carryovers that we need to do some corrections between 23 and fiscal year 23 and 24. Because there were some things that were taken out of July of 24 that actually belong back in June of 23. So there's a few adjustments there we need to make, and then there's also a couple funds that need to be carried forward from 23 to 24 that were not completed. So we just, when we get those corrected, or on paper from Ron, then we will make those carryovers at probably our next meeting. But I did have a great conversation with Ron this afternoon, so we are making progress on fiscal year 23. Abatement. We can talk about that one, me too.
I'll let you talk about it. I know it came in, I know they balance, I know we're all happy. That's.
So there's a tax abatement there for Chris Daly. I don't know if you guys remember, he had come in back a while ago, because his homestead exemption was on one of his properties instead of the other. So Paul has been working with him, the assessor Paul has been working with him. On getting that corrected and making sure that the correct exemptions go to the correct property. So we have a tax abatement and a supplemental assessment that we need to sign. So we will need, the. Let's see there, the amount was. So essentially what it is doing, it's doing a supplemental assessment and abatement of $433.13 from one piece of property to the other.
Mhm.
It's basically just a wash. It's
Yeah,
changing-
it's a
yeah.
wash, it's just,
Changing
at
it
the end
from
of the
A to
day,
B.
yeah, there's no difference in accounting for us, it's just correcting
Yeah,
the exemption to the right
right.
building.
It's all because the exemption didn't follow him when he moved. to the
Correct,
new
yeah,
house
he
and
moved into
still
his new
on,
house and the exemption stayed on the old one.
Yeah.
So that's been corrected now,
yeah. Okay,
so we just need a motion and signature.
Motion to approve and sign the abatement for Chris Daly for 8 Podge Road and 8 Black Fly Alley.
second, oh,
I have a
Or-
motion and a second,
Ooh,
all those in favor?
this is not spelled correctly.
I noticed the same thing, top word, abatement is spelled incorrectly.
No, oh, that too.
Yeah.
It's Black Clay Alley.
Oh. yeah, fine,
Yeah. On both pages,
It is on both. Let's check it out.
I will
and what's it supposed to be?
black fly,
Yeah, mine says black fly,
flay,
Mine says fly.
mine says flay.
mine says fly,
Well, that's just odd.
but abatement is spelled. wrong.
Yeah, abatement is.
I photocopied it.
Oh,
Online,
I
right?
don't know why.
No, down here,
In the thing.
Oh, down
Body.
there, okay.
I would say autocorrect. More than likely autocorrect to clear that one.
Wait a minute, I'm looking at his address.
Really, guys, I'm not that crazy. Working on it.
All right, new office hours starting July 1.
Aaron and I have chatted. Tuesdays are relatively slow. We've had them, I know years ago, we were open till 4. The hours got changed to 6. We would like to change the office hours from 8 to noon. And then use noon to 4, or when we are done, to work on paperwork. Do that kind of stuff. There's not enough traffic to warrant the office hours. So we'd like to get approval to make that change. And if we have to revisit it later on, we will, but. Time to do uninterrupted paperwork at this point. Our plans are to start afresh in July. Moving files, creating file, a working plan for us moving forward. That works for both Aaron and I, and we're on the same page and. Trying to rectify some inconsistencies, very incorrect finding forms, that type of thing, so. Sometimes it's hard to get started on a project, because sometimes, like any other project, it gets worse before it gets better. To be able to pull it out for a while and work on it without being interrupted.
I make the motion to approve the amended office hours on Tuesday, starting July 1st. From closing at 6 to closing at noon time. And, go ahead.
I have a motion, I have a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on changing the office hours starting July 1st. All those in favor?
Can we post that?
Yes, we will, like tomorrow.
Yes.
Is there still a date that you guys are open?
Thursdays.
Thursdays.
Thursdays are open,
Yeah.
still open till 6.
Yeah.
We are hoping moving forward that if all goes well, we're gonna help educate people to do things online.
Yeah.
As far as motor vehicle and Moses, and hopefully at some point when we get the website up and running, we might be able to even do tax payments online.
Mhm.
But yeah, we'll definitely be keeping one night.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
The new
just
web-
looking at the number of people coming in and stuff on the second night, it's just not.
We were paying more than we were
Yeah.
bringing in.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And the new website's gonna allow for a lot more online transactions to happen.
And when
yeah,
someone registers a vehicle online, it doesn't affect the town in any way.
No, we
Right.
still get paid for it, we still get a copy of the registrations.
The only time you can't do that is if it's a first time registration, other than that.
all right, year-end payroll payouts. Reminder, it is
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah.
Make sure you're mentioning to all your departments that you need to payroll time cards have to be in before, what's the date that we
The
talked
last
about?
payroll of the month will be, bear with me,
Next Monday.
I don't remember what we said the time was.
the 24th.
24th. So all time cards have to be in before the 21st or 4th. So if anybody, if you can pass that along to your departments that way. Excuse me, that way we make sure everything comes out of the correct lines and correct year.
And if I remember right, if they don't get it.
Correct. If you do not take your pay
This is-
before June 30th, you do not get your pay because that's
It's
that's
right.
for committees. If it's an employee, that's different because that's a different deal. But
Right, but
Yeah,
it's very
but
hard.
for committees and extra
Stipends.
position, yeah, for stipend, that's different, but in terms of hourly employees and stuff, you do get your pay. Yeah, pretty much. All right, on to town treasurer, just a quick update. The town of Canton has hired Patricia Patno to be our treasurer. She will be in the office one day next week. I'm not sure what day yet. We're working on getting that tied down, but, she will be in the office one day next week to get started. I have connected her with Kathy and also with Ron, from our HR. So has the contact she needs to get started and we're moving forward. I believe she's also planning on being in the office for, year-end closeout, to try to help with that and get us heading into the new year.
She wants to be good for town meeting as well.
Yep, yeah, she did tell me the other day when I talked to her, that her plan was to be here for town meeting, as long as nothing changed, she was gonna come just to. See everybody, in case she didn't catch up with people this week, that way she would be here to meet everybody, then also just see how things went. But,
That's good.
and then on to town meeting warrant discussion,
Which we now have to change.
which we now have some updates to do.
Yeah.
Dreadful. So I'm going to give those back, Kathy, before I lose them. Did you give me one? Which one was mine?
I don't have one, so. we'll have to find
Do you
one.
That one must be yours.
Do you have one?
Warrants and stuff, and then Mary
I
Ann
do
can
have
do her questions.
He
But
goes,
she won't have anything
I can
on the
get
warrant
access, so-
questions.
We could do that.
But we have to edit it.
The one thing I'd like to talk about first, I'd like to talk about, before we get to numbers, I'd like to talk about the solar ordinance. We discussed it at our warrant workshop about whether or not to continue with putting the solar ordinance on. We do have 2 planning board representatives here, so. Yeah, so maybe 3 if we can convince Brian to join as well. I mean, maybe we could have another.
Good, Brian, he's going, what?
Might be the-
I've been busy.
Yeah.
I second.
So
Okay.
kind of looking for
You will?
the board's thoughts around.
Awesome. He's
So-
doing it.
He's now
Is that
appointed.
to resign?
No.
I'd like to reappoint you too.
No,
I got the.
You got the right one,
I
Mike.
can try, I don't know.
Thank you.
I can throw my opinion
Nice,
in.
perfect.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. If you're interested, that would be great.
Well,
That's,
I've been very busy doing it,
We'll just,
but yeah, I'll give it a try.
It's only, it's twice a month. The first and
I
third,
missed it.
Thursday of the month.
In and out.
Fast.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Robin will call me when the first, we got it going.
what is someone requesting?
Deanne,
Yeah.
Deanne Bedard, Town of Hartford.
Yep.
All right, so, yeah, so I'm just kind of looking for some thoughts around or actually need direction. Are we keeping the solar ordinance on the warrant? Are we not?
My opinion is we keep it on there, that way people can vote. We're never gonna get a better representation of what their wants are unless we put it in front of them, and the longer we keep putting it off, the more chance, A, we're going to run past our moratorium time. And B, it's going to be similar to the ATV club. It's just gonna be rehashing the same thing over and over.
I think for me, the reason why I'd like to see it on there is just, I'd like to get it on there. We can always amend it.
Correct,
Cause you know, there's been, I can't remember the guy's name, but there's been someone talking or sending us some stuff and back and forth with Diane about, you know, maybe some updates and things like that, which I think is great. Maybe we need to update in it, but I think if we get it in there, get it approved or disproved, whatever the town votes, then we could decide, you know, hey, take another couple months, do a little more research. Here's something else that needs to be changed or a different recommendation, then we can look at going in and amending that ordinance and changing it moving forward. Yeah,
So
definitely.
the way that it stands right now, because we have projects that are trying to come in and we don't have an ordinance, they then fall underneath the commercial use ordinance. So that's it. So they would come in as a commercial entity, so if this doesn't get put on the warrant and our moratorium expires. First person that comes in here and gives a $35 check or whatever for a solar business. We can't say no unless they follow that ordinance. So it closes the loophole.
Yeah, I mean,
If the town were to vote it down, would our moratorium continue?
I think we need to put
So-
both questions on there.
Right.
Because my fear is, and we talked about it, or it was talked about at the planning meeting. If you give, like Tom said, these companies 2 hours a time, we're gonna get hit with permits, and there's nothing we can do. They're waiting on that window. However small it might be to get us.
I think probably the best route to go would be having the ordinance as question, I don't know what it is, 43 or whatever it is. And then having question 44 being extending the moratorium for 180 days.
Yeah.
So that way, if
Cover your
if
ass.
the first article fails, then the second article, okay, you know, the ordinance didn't pass, let's extend this and we'll go back and start over with the ordinance and go from there. If the ordinance passes, we can take a vote of the people in attendance at the meeting. If they want to, we can table that question and move on to the next article. So that way it would cover us either way.
My personal opinion is that it needs to stay on the warrant with another question on continuing the moratorium.
If it does not pass.
Right, I think both questions need to be on the warrant just to cover us, to dot all of our i's and cross all of our t's. Yeah.
And there are some current things on our ordinance that we've presented that I think we should change anyway, but we need to get something on the books. Like one of them is doing a yearly fee or a yearly, like if we have one here now that came in, I think after the fact, like, oh, hey, by the way, you're gonna need to now pay us X amount of dollars per year because you have a solar field out there. I don't think that should be put on. I think we need to reword it so that either if that one becomes grandfathered in, or there's no yearly like permit fee to have it. If you can't do it after the fact.
No.
fee
Right.
on something.
No, so it needs to clearly state in the ordinance that this applies to anything created after the
Yeah,
ordinance
after
was
the
already
ordinance was
adopted.
Yeah.
Anything before that would be grandfathered in. I agree with you there. Yeah,
It's not good business practice.
No.
Not even.
So.
no,
No, definitely.
definitely not. So if we need a motion, I make a motion to keep the ordinance on the warrant, the ordinance question on the warrant with an additional question on, do we want to continue the moratorium? Like, maybe right after that. I think they
Yeah,
need to
it should be one right after
back
the
to
other,
back.
that way it's. Yeah.
So I make a motion for that.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to keep the solar ordinance on the town meeting. Agenda, or, yeah, warrant, excuse me, for the meeting on the 27th. All those in favor? Okay. All right, I'm going to slide the warrant aside for a minute so we can go through our last couple items. And then we'll get back to looking at numbers in the warrant. AP warrants, number 85, $3,170.55. 87, $15,194.16. 89, $15,525.60. Payroll warrants, $5,644.93. 86, $5,043.61. And 88, $5,160.60.
Make a motion to approve this, read.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Vote. Okay. Public comment.
You did a great job.
Thanks. You are too, and welcome back to the planning board.
By the way, I have no say.
Went very smoothly, thanks to Kathy and Aaron. Went awesome. Even with the blankety blanks.
Oh, God. That was counting.
Yes, you had to count all the blanks, and if there was 3 positions and nobody wrote anything in, it was blank, 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 not just one blank.
Yeah.
We ended up with. It's in my report.
Far
Way
too
too many
many
blanks.
blanks.
A lot of blanks.
It was a lot of blanks.
I will start.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Did you figure out anything else with the other write-ins for the planning board?
Nobody accepted as far as we know, so.
I'd say so far, the only one we're waiting on, did you get back from,
Chris.
no? Jeff?
No.
Okay, so we still gotta check in with Jeff, but
But if not, we've got,
if not, we have something. We'll have that on our next meeting agenda.
Appointment papers.
Yep,
And are all seats filled and all boards throughout the town now?
Yes.
yes.
Are we missing one on budget?
Like we have a full,
I would have
like,
to look.
select board team.
Yeah, because that one's appointed, so I don't know, I'd have to look at it, but
huh?
in terms of elected, in terms of elected
Accepted.
boards, yes.
Last night.
Yeah.
So.
Are you gonna post on the town page tomorrow?
Yes. Post positions, this is for Tom, I left you a message.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was.
Here's my email address, I need it sooner rather than later. Post on Facebook pages.
Pass that down.
Yes.
Yep.
names.
All righty, so, on to committee reports. I'm gonna start with Kathy for the office.
Well, it's been a fun 2 weeks.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I am amazed that up until today, now, extenuating circumstances and driving. But up until today, I looked up in the days. So it's been great being back. Starting Monday morning, we can start processing full registrations. We got 2 in Penn State.
Yay!
We received.
Can you also post that on Facebook tomorrow?
We received in the mail a paid agreement from Andrew in regards to the fire truck. So, and an overage check of
$11.
I'd say $11.
Perfect.
Aaron submitted a request for state of Maine unclaimed property, so take a look at the website. For the town of Canton, we brought in $849.01. And we spent it. We did buy a few things, but we have purchased a few things for the office. Someone asked me today. Medicare representative, do we have one?
We do not at this time.
Okay.
We are looking for a
Okay.
Medicare rep. Can you also post that on Facebook?
Facebook?
Social media.
That's what Kathy's doing tomorrow.
resigning.
Oh, God.
So I can give some election results as of right now. For the 1 year term for selectmen, it was Sean Goodrow. For the 3 year selectman term, Christine Kerrigan won the write-ins for that, and she has accepted. Planning board position, Tom won the write-in campaign and also accepted. Robin won a write-in campaign and was accepted, and we are waiting on the last position for 2 people to contact us back. And Carl Leaders, won the school board. Transfer station and town office will be closed next Wednesday for Juneteenth.
Does Jim know?
He does know.
Okay, thank you.
And that was also posted on Facebook. I'm one step ahead of you on that one.
I shared it already, so
All
I know.
And nothing like starting a brand new job, but I'm on vacation after. Next week.
That's pretty good.
I know, great. No, Aaron,
Paid?
yes.
Shit, I'm working on.
Do you know how to file? Cause.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's going
Yeah.
really well. Like I said, we're moving forward. We have some plans of how we want our files to look, how we want things to go. We're rearranging the office now. If you've been in the office, you can see some things have changed. Cleaning the office. That was not on my list, but it just made me think of it. So you want me to bring it up or?
I can bring it up if you want.
Okay.
So looking through the expense reports and things and talking with Kathy a little bit, I think after July 1st, we're no longer gonna have a cleaning service to clean the office. Other on a normal basis, looking at going back to having the office staff take care of the day-to-day cleaning. And then having, say, a couple, 3 times a year, having somebody come in and do a deep clean. Just looking at, we're spending quite a bit of money on just the normal vacuuming, mopping the floor and things like that. I think it makes more sense financially. And talking with Kathy, she thinks they have time enough to do it in between things. So I think we're starting July 1st.
Responsible for making a mess. I mean, at home, I have to clean my house.
It was brought up, yes, Tuesday during the elections that it looked like the floor had not been, so.
Yeah.
You know, it's just one of those things. It is, I mean, it
It's
is,
a funky floor.
it's a funky floor and it's getting old, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those things that. It's used more often than, not, and we're capable of cleaning. Cleaning, period, so. I think that's it for us. Everyone's been great, so.
Thank you.
Christie, you got any updates?
I don't. Actually, I don't know any of these.
Sure.
Baseball is over. Yeah, baseball is over. They're doing the tryouts for All-Stars next step, and that's pretty much it for rec. I want to jump into other business for me though. I do have a request for the ATV club. Please.
No problem.
Now that we've made a decision about Staples Hill Road,
Yeah.
can the ATV club please put up no access signs at the top of Staples Hill and at the bottom of Staples Hill?
Something about,
No ATV sign. huh?
right,
Yeah.
just,
No access, you're
Because
right, no
Well,
access sign.
we've had multiple,
My trail master years ago had put some up, people pulling them up fast, we put them up, but yeah.
I mean, it's worth a try,
I could put
just to
some
see.
down there and I could put them right out by the town line.
Yeah, just because we've had a couple people that I've heard say, well, we're using it as an access route because there are signs on the Hartford side, and I said,
To
well,
me-
not in Canton.
Some of the one complaining, they should call the game warden of Oxford County, so they'll have a record of it.
Yeah.
And if
Well,
they're looking at it, seeing, well, gee, we had 5 this weekend, and
Right,
then they can look back and say, oh, it is a problem.
well, and it does look a little bit confusing because there are signs on Church Street that
Yeah.
do say that it's an access road.
Well,
And granted, yes, as soon as you cross the town line, there are no more signs and.
Don't quote me, but
So
they are not putting their signs what they should, I mean, I shouldn't be negative, but when I talk to Brian Milligan, if, he's telling me what we could do and not do, and it was every quarter mile,
Yeah.
in that area, and we had to have DOT signs, speed limit signs. on it. They've just got a access sign
Says
that's
access,
way
yeah.
off on one side of the road.
Yeah.
And if you have one sign, you're supposed to have a sign on each side, so the traffic can see the sign.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll put some on.
So, yeah,
Great.
I mean, for our
Does
side of
anyone-
town, if we
Does
could
anybody
just,
up there want signs they could put on the?
well, I was just thinking like, it would be nice just to do our part as a town to make sure that it's marked.
Yeah.
No,
And-
no ATVs.
People, yeah, okay.
Question, has anything further happened with getting rid of that old ridge Shannon Park?
Now that you mention it, I gotta follow back up with Jason, because I was waiting for him to call me back. So let me reach back out to him.
The other thing with rec, I just saw a post, soccer will be starting, signups will be starting sometime late July, early August.
Yeah.
So that it will be coming before long, right?
I think you guys made the right decision on Staples Hill. I mean,
I don't think we had a
We
choice.
didn't have to.
my thing, there's that curbing all the way up to Ray's.
Yeah.
And out by mountains.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, but I mean.
Yeah.
There's a lot of road and,
No place to go.
well, like I said, machines are not made for tar roads. I mean, if it was a mile to get, I could understand that.
Mhm.
Or a dirt road and not as populated.
Yeah.
I mean, the club has no feelings because we had a few meetings and a big percentage of them were very against it. I mean,
Mhm.
I know we need people coming, but we have to be safe too.
Yep.
Cause you guys, well, the town would be liable and the club would probably be liable if something happened.
Highway updates.
My
Yeah.
highway update. Yes, we're purchasing a body for the horses there. The guy said, yes, not ever.
Oh, it's a lot.
We had rented an excavator last week
Yes.
and they did some. What is this for?
I told Andy to figure out and the club would pay half for the Calvin up on Alden Hill.
Oh, okay,
It would be, cause he was right on it.
yeah.
We use that road.
Mhm.
20 years,
Yep.
we haven't really, it's
Yep.
been
Thank you.
holding and the club wants to do that part.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so they did some culvert work, some ditching work, et cetera. The mowing is never ending right now, as we all know. We do have 2 applications in for summer help, so hopefully they get some relief,
He's interviewing tomorrow,
because I know
I believe is what I heard.
Dave and Jamie are begging for some weed whacking help at the sewer plant. Cause Dave's not getting any younger and Jamie just does it because he helps his dad, so.
Yeah, they want them to start Monday.
Good.
So hopefully that works out. Other than that. Pretty status quo, other than. Ann and I did a presentation at the Maine Old Cemetery Association annual meeting 2 weekends ago, June 1st, which. The people that attended were from all over the state, and when I was talking about. The amount of town support that we've had, both financially and just, supportive comments, et cetera. People were blown away that numerous comments of, I wished we had a town that would do this. And then we did a tour of Pine Grove and I'd asked the guys on Friday, just, kind of spiff it up a little bit, make sure it was immaculate. And they received many comments on how good the cemetery looks, so. Canton shone that day, so.
Nice.
It's amazing how, I just driving around the state, now I notice other cemeteries.
It's sad,
Our cemeteries are
yeah.
beautiful, and
Yeah.
there's so many that are not cared for at all.
It's
sad,
it's
it's really sad.
Yeah.
So, And just that awareness comes from the cemetery ladies. so-
You have to start working with the younger people.
Yeah. it's
Well-
so important.
But
Oh,
no, we've had
it's
an
way too
amazing.
cemetery when they see it.
Oh, every time, and Dakota too, he's totally trained.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we will take a 2-minute or 5-minute break if Marion has questions. And then we'll jump into looking at some warrant numbers for town meeting. And then after that, we'll have an executive session. And I can take a break.
Let's see.
What time?
So.
Why do you-
The name says the person.
Yeah.
Christine. C-H-R-I-S-T-I-N-E. Carrigan, C-A-R-R-I-G-A-N. We're friendly.
Now we're.
State's got, yeah. Next one. How do you spell, the new treasurer is Patricia?
Yes.
Patricia, just regular spelling?
Yep.
And how do you spell her last name?
P-A-T.
Oh,
N-A.
and.
U-D-E.
There's no E in there?
Nope, there's not.
P-A-T-M-A-U.
Yep.
What town is she from?
From stuff.
Hey, can you unstick this? I want
Can I what?
to unstick it. I want to get we're frozen.
Part-time position.
Oh,
It's a
what are you talking about?
DM position.
I gotta go get
We're doing
the,
most of the work
baseball
remotely.
stuff.
We get this stuff in there, I figured out.
She's going to starting.
Got my baseball
Yes.
stuff.
Sure I can.
I'm gonna make you copies.
The other people that are hired, I think
I gave you that information, yeah.
So you guess I can ask these guys to see warrant they're working on now.
Yeah, we have to sign that, it has to be completed and signed tonight, because we have to post it before the town meeting. So,
One thing that's gonna be happening with me is I'm gonna be away on vacation out of the country.
There you go.
But I'm concerned, so your town meeting though is that
On the 27th.
27th.